This is a summary of Chris Voss, How to Succeed at Hard Conversations, where we break down the key insights, ideas, and takeaways from this content, giving you the gist so you can decide if you want the rest. In this episode of the Hubermanlab podcast, Dr. Andrew Huberman speaks with Chris Voss, a former FBI hostage negotiator, expert in high-stakes negotiations, and author of Never Split the Difference. Voss has spent decades mastering the art of negotiation, persuasion, and conflict resolution, not just in hostage situations, but also in business, relationships, and everyday interactions. Dr. Huberman emphasizes that negotiation is not just about getting what you want. It's about understanding human behavior, emotions, and psychology in order to navigate difficult conversations effectively. Throughout the episode, Voss shares techniques that can help anyone, from business professionals to couples to law enforcement, become better at handling high-stakes conversations. Voss explains that successful negotiations are not about dominating the other person or forcing an outcome, but rather about listening, recognizing emotions, and using strategic techniques to guide the conversation toward a productive resolution. This episode covers how to prepare your mind and body before entering a difficult conversation, why listening is more powerful than speaking, how to recognize deception and emotional manipulation, how to shift tense conversations into collaborative problem-solving, the importance of tone, pace, and wording in negotiation. These tools are not just for hostage negotiations. They apply to business deals, salary discussions, personal relationships, and even casual disagreements. 1. The negotiator's mindset. Entering the conversation with the right frame. Chris Voss explains that the first mistake most people make in high-stakes conversations is failing to prepare mentally. Before entering a negotiation, your mindset determines your outcome. A. The 3 key questions to ask yourself before a difficult conversation. 1. What's really going on here? Most conversations have hidden layers of emotions, power struggles, and unspoken concerns. Successful negotiators try to identify these before they start talking. 2. Is there a deal to be made, or is it a waste of time? Not every negotiation is worth engaging in. If someone is unreasonable or unwilling to collaborate, it's often best to walk away. 3. How do I create an approach that maximizes my chances of success? Instead of just stating demands, Voss focuses on diagnosing the situation and strategically maneuvering the conversation toward an optimal outcome. B. The power of playfulness in negotiation. One of Voss's biggest insights is that negotiation works better when you approach it playfully rather than aggressively. He shares a personal example. While dealing with lost luggage at an airport, instead of getting angry at the baggage claim staff, he walked in with a playful, light-hearted energy. He joked with the airline employee, saying, "I need you to wave a magic wand and make my bag appear." To his surprise, the employee went above and beyond, walking behind the scenes and personally retrieving his luggage, even though that was not standard protocol. Voss emphasizes that approaching negotiations with a relaxed, confident, and even playful attitude can disarm tension and make people more willing to cooperate. The power of the late-night FM DJ voice. Voss is famous for his late-night FM DJ voice, a slow, calm, deep, and reassuring tone that makes people feel comfortable and willing to listen. Dr. Huberman explains that there's real neuroscience behind why this works. Low-frequency tones activate a relaxation response in the brain, making people feel less defensive and more open to conversation. High-frequency tones, like yelling or fast speech, activate a stress response, causing people to become defensive or even aggressive. Voss uses this technique to regulate emotions, both his own and the other person's. When negotiations get heated, lowering his voice naturally calms the other person down. Speaking slowly and deliberately forces the other person to slow their thoughts and listen more carefully. Voss encourages people to train themselves to use a slower, calmer tone in difficult conversations. It can significantly improve how persuasive and credible you sound. How to spot deception and manipulation. Voss reveals that one of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming that deception is all about what someone says. Instead, deception is more about how someone reacts than what they actually say. The 3 key signs that someone is lying or manipulating you. 1. They respond too quickly or too vaguely. If someone immediately answers without thinking, they might be covering something up. If they avoid specifics and use general statements, they may be hiding something. 1. They get defensive without being challenged. If you ask a neutral question and they react with strong defensiveness, it could indicate guilt or deception. 1. They contradict themselves when asked follow-up questions. A deceptive person may struggle to keep their story consistent when pressed for details. B. How to uncover the truth without making the other person defensive. Instead of accusing someone of lying, Voss suggests using mirrors and open-ended how or what questions to force the person to clarify. Example, if someone says, "I would never lie about that," you can mirror by saying, "Never lie about that." The pause forces them to explain themselves further, often revealing inconsistencies. 4. The art of tactical empathy, making people feel heard. Voss introduces tactical empathy, a powerful tool that makes the other person feel understood without necessarily agreeing with them. A. How to use tactical empathy in any conversation. 1. Label the other person's emotions. If someone is upset, say, "It sounds like this has been frustrating for you." If someone is worried, say, "It seems like you have some concerns about this." 1. Mirroring. Repeat the last 2 to 3 words they said. If they say, "This is just really difficult," you say, "Really difficult?" This encourages them to expand and explain further, making them feel heard. Use the phrase "it seems like" instead of "you should." Instead of saying, "You need to calm down," say, "It seems like this situation has been overwhelming for you." This removes blame and defensiveness from the conversation. Why this works. People crave feeling understood. When you show tactical empathy, they let their guard down and become more willing to collaborate. Final takeaways. This episode is packed with valuable negotiation techniques that can be applied to business, relationships, and everyday communication. Key lessons from Chris Voss. Your mindset before a conversation shapes the outcome. Playfulness and confidence make people more willing to collaborate. Lowering your voice and speaking slowly makes people listen. People reveal more when they feel heard. Use tactical empathy to create trust. Spot deception by focusing on reactions, not just words. The best negotiators don't argue. They guide the conversation strategically. These techniques can help anyone navigate difficult conversations with confidence and control. That's it for this summary of Chris Voss, How to Succeed at Hard Conversations. Be sure to follow us and check back soon for more detailed breakdowns.